morning and welcome to our another class of our topic transformation of sentences. In our previous inline topic, we read about the transformation of complex sentences into compound sentences and we read 6 rules. In this, we will begin our class with the 7th rule. But before we will start this rule, let us recall the rules that we read in our previous class. In first rule, we read that if the complex sentence is having though or although in the beginning, then we will use but or yet to connect the different clauses. And in our second rule, we read that the sentence having lest or should in the complex sentence, the lest in the middle, or you can say the person, or lest before the person and should after the person. So if the complex sentence is having lest or should, then while transforming them into compound sentence, we will use or otherwise to connect the different clauses, and future tense will be used in the second clause. And in our third rule, we read that if the complex sentence begins with as soon as, if the complex sentence begins with as soon as, while transforming them into compound sentences, we will use conjunction and. The sentence having as soon as in complex sentences, while transforming them to compound sentences, we will use the conjunction and. And in fourth rule, we read that if the complex sentence has since, as or when in the beginning, the compound sentence will use and, so, hence, therefore to connect the different clauses. In our fifth rule, we read that if the complex sentence has who, the compound sentence will use and in place of who, and object of the first clause will be the subject of the second clause. Listen carefully. If the complex sentence is having who, while transforming it into compound sentence, we will replace who with and object of the first clause will be the subject of the second clause. And in our sixth rule, we read that if the complex sentence starts with if and having a negative form, then the compound sentence will be let plus object form of pronoun plus positive form of subordinate clause plus or otherwise plus main clause. So here we discuss six points, 6 rules related to our topic, that is transformation of complex sentences into compound sentences. So in our this, let us step ahead with the 7th rule, and that is if the complex sentence starts with if with affirmative. In previous we read that if the complex, in 6th rule we read that if the sentence starts with if having negative, but here if the sentence is having if plus affirmative form, then in compound sentence we will use let plus object form of pronoun plus and between two clauses plus main clause. If the complex sentence, listen carefully, if the complex sentence is having or started with if with positive meaning or affirmative form, then the compound sentence will start with let plus object form of pronoun plus and between the two clauses plus main clause, rest part of the sentence. Listen carefully. If the complex sentence starts with if with affirmative form, then the compound sentence will be in let plus object form of the pronoun and between two clauses and main clause. So, if I go to my grandmother, I will be able to know about my relatives. Let me go to my grandmother and I will be able to know about my relatives. So, if I go to my grandmother, I will be able to know about my relatives. Let me go to my grandmother and I will be able to know about my relatives. So, our seventh rule tells us about the complex sentence having if with affirmative, and in sixth rule we read that the complex sentence having if with negative. So, here in this rule we read that if plus affirmative form, let plus object form of pronoun, and we will add and between two clauses plus main clause. In our eighth rule, if the complex sentence starts with or having if plus u plus negative meaning, then the compound sentence will omit if you do not and use affirmative form plus verb or otherwise the main clause. So, if plus complex sentence, if the complex sentence having if plus u plus negative meaning, then the compound sentence will omit if you do not and use affirmative form plus verb plus otherwise plus the main clause. Example, if you do not go there, you will miss the chance. Go there or you will miss the chance. If you do not practice more, you cannot become a good player. Practice more or you cannot become a good player. So, if the complex sentence starts with if plus u plus negative form, negative meaning, then the compound sentence will start with affirmative plus affirmative, we will start with we will use affirmative form plus verb plus or otherwise plus main clause. So, if you do not go there, you will miss the chance. Go there or you will miss the chance. If you do not practice more, you cannot become a good player. Practice more or you cannot become a good player. In our ninth rule, we will read that if the complex sentence starts with if plus second person you plus positive meaning, then the compound sentence will remove if you do not and use an affirmative form and plus main clause. So, if you will go there, you will get the chance. Go there and you will get the chance. Same, that is our same rule. And if you read more, you will improve your reading power. Read more, you will improve your reading power. So, here in this eighth rule, in ninth and our eighth rule, same is there. First, we read that if the complex sentence with u plus negative meaning, and here if the complex sentence starts with if plus positive meaning. So, here if the complex sentence starts with if plus second person plus positive meaning, then the compound sentence will omit if you do not and use an affirmative here. So, in this one, if you go there, you will get the chance. Go there and get the chance. Here, we will remove what? If you go there. If you go there, we will remove the omit if you and add, we will start with affirmative form. So, if you. Then the compound sentence will omit if you and we will use affirmative form plus and plus main clause. Example, if you go there, you will get the chance. Go there and you will get the chance. In our 8th, we read that we will remove if you do not, if the sentence is negative meaning. But here if the sentence is positive meaning, then we will remove if you. So if you go there, you will get the chance. Go there and you will get the chance. If you read more, you will improve your reading power. So read more and you will improve your reading power. So there is a little bit difference related to the positive and negative meaning of the sentences containing the rule 8 and 9. 8 and 9 rule contains to mean that in 8th rule, if plus second person plus negative meaning. In 9th rule, if plus second person plus positive meaning. So carefully read these two rules, and while transforming complex into compound sentence, while negative meaning we will remove if you do not, and while transforming this complex into compound sentence having affirmative meaning, we will remove if you. So thoroughly read this sentences and rules carefully. In a 10th rule, if the complex sentence has so that form, the compound sentence will use very in place of so, and is place, and this and will be in place of that, plus so or hence, therefore plus main clause. Listen carefully. If the complex sentence has so that, then the compound sentence will use very in place of so. Then we will add and, then so, hence, therefore, then main clause. Let us see the example. I am so tired that I cannot walk. I am very tired and so hence or therefore I cannot walk. I am very tired and therefore I cannot walk. This puzzle is so hard that I cannot solve it. Then the compound sentence will be, the puzzle is very hard and so I cannot solve it. The puzzle is very hard and hence I cannot solve it, or so therefore I cannot solve it. So in our 10th rule, we will see that if the complex sentence is having so or that, while transforming it into compound sentence, we will use very in place of so, and we will place this and that, we will use and in place of that and use so, hence, therefore. Thoroughly read these sentences to understand the rule. So in our next 11th rule, we will see that if the complex sentence starts with unless plus second person you, then in the compound sentence unless and you will be omitted, plus or between two clauses and main clause. Listen here. If the complex sentence starts with unless plus second person, then in compound sentence we will use or, and unless we will omitted unless and you, and rest we will add or, and rest part will be as it is or the main clause. So unless you practice hard, you cannot become a good player. Practice hard or you cannot become a good player. Unless you work hard, you cannot pass the exam. Work hard or you cannot pass the exam. So here, listen carefully. If the complex sentence starts with unless plus second person. Then in compound sentence we will remove unless plus you and add or, and rest part will be as it is. So unless you practice hard, you cannot become a good player. Practice hard or you cannot become a good player. Unless you work hard, you cannot pass the exam. Work hard or you cannot pass the exam. So here we can transform a sentence into simple, complex or compound by following the rules we discussed. So first, buy 2 shirts to get 1 free. This is some simple sentence. While transforming it into complex sentence, if you buy 2 shirts, you get 1 free. And in compound sentence, buy 2 shirts and get 1 free. So we can easily transform a simple sentence into complex or compound by following the rules or by stepping the rules one by one carefully. See here example, buy 2 shirts to get 1 free. Simple sentence, if you buy 2 shirts you get 1 free. Complex sentence, buy 2 shirts and get 1 free. This is compound sentence. Similarly, second, we must to live, we must eat to live. We eat so that we can live. We must eat or we cannot live. So here we must eat to live. Simple sentence. We eat so that we can live. Complex sentence. We must eat or we cannot live. Compound sentence. So with these examples you can thoroughly or clearly understand the rules whatever we discussed in our previous topics. Go through the rules carefully and practice yourself. Thanks and have a nice day.